Wait. Please watch this video. We have something interesting to analyze.
We have been in this site for almost 3 days now. Do you know what happened? When I checked this board, I supposed to do the separation, but I don't want to do it because I've seen a lot of looping in this board. So I'm waiting for the electrician to come and do this thing. And it's now 3 days. The electrician that did this house wiring is not showing face.
I hope you watched that video, right? Did you see how the solar guy was lamenting, was complaining? Now, let's get to this. One of the sweetest shortcuts electrical engineers do that don't sit well with solar engineers is looping. Now, what do I mean by looping? Now, that method of wiring where an electrical engineer takes source from the DB, send it to a particular socket. Then from that particular socket to another socket, from that socket to another socket, from the other socket to another socket. Basically having 8 to 10 sockets being connected together using one source from the distribution board. Now, this is quite unprofessional. Very unprofessional when it comes to electrical wiring. Now, you don't loop socket to socket, you don't loop socket to AC, you don't loop socket to water heater. Because remember, this said wire that is passing through all this thing has a current tolerance, a current limit. Now imagine if you wire all these sockets together to AC and everything, and the load, passing through this particular wire is much bigger than that particular wire can handle. Do you understand? When the current passing this particular wire is much bigger than the wire can actually handle, what will happen is the wire will start burning or peeling, or the circuit breaker being attached to that particular circuit we get burnt immediately. So let me emphasize on how this can actually affect both the electrical guy and the solar guy. Now, from the video we just watched, the solar guy was complaining about the looping. You understand? And when he tried all the possible means to do separation of power in that house, he couldn't do it. And the suggestion he gave was to call the electrical guy. Now, can you see that the electrical guy now, we face the camera, right? Because when he comes, definitely there's nothing to be done except rewiring that house from the scratch, except cracking up the wall, repiping that house from the scratch. Now, the reason why solar engineers, do separation of power is to reduce costs. Do you understand? Is to reduce costs. You may have a client that doesn't have much money to go for a high capacity inverter or system that can carry the whole load in the house. So what you suggest to him or her is to go for lesser capacity that can power few loads comfortably. So as a solar engineer, what you should do at that point is to do separation of power. But when you want to do the separation of power and you discover that there's this one source handling the whole socket in the house, even looped to AC, what will you do? You'll be confused. There's nothing you can do about it. You understand? Then as the electrical engineer, a situation whereby they call you to come and correct what you've done so far, how do you intend to do it? This thing called engineering is not about professionalism. Do you understand? What do I mean? Whenever you're asked to do a job, always analyze the job you want to do very well. Put some certain things into consideration. Like, ask yourself this question: will there be solar in this house? If yes, there's this chances that there must be separation of power in that house. So what do? Make sure all your sockets are independently wired. All your AC are independently wired, and all your water heater are independently wired. So thank you very much.